Welcome to the $1 Million Blueprint with Pudetti, where we can talk about the honest truth about either starting a business or growing your business to the $1 million mark. I will give you a roadmap that provides you with the ideal client or buyer, financial wisdom, marketing, branding, leadership, and so much more. Thank you for joining the $1 Million Blueprint. I hope you enjoy the episode. Welcome to the $1 Million Blueprint with Pudetti. I am so excited to be talking to Kaila DiTucci today. She owns her own marketing firm. And welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited. I was excited when you agreed to do this. So why don't we start off by telling people, who you really are and what you are currently doing. And should we mention your age so they have an idea?
Yeah, sure.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Well, you're a hell of a lot younger than me. For those really listening, I am 39, and I stand by that for many, 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 many years. So, who are you and what do you do?
So I own, as Karen said, I own DiTucci Marketing, which is a local marketing firm in Rochester, New York, right here in Rochester. I do say that because most of my clients, 90% of them are in Rochester. I do have a few that are in Buffalo, one that's in Florida. So I started my business when I was fresh in the job market, trying to find a job. Didn't really know what to do. I still was working my 9-to-5 when I did decide to go full-time with my job, my business though. I quit my 9-to-5 and I fully went into it, but I basically...
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you overlap for a while?
I did.
Because I did the same thing. I overlapped for a long while.
Yes.
And kept building it. And I think I just want to point that out because that's really important. I feel that's one of the best ways to keep going because you're making money, but you're still building your business.
Absolutely.
So I think when I talk to young entrepreneurs, that's one thing I always want to say, you need a paycheck, you need to live. So how are you going to do that while you're getting to where you want to go? Sorry to interrupt. Okay.
No, you're fine. And to that point, right? I was working a 9-to-5 and then I'd go home, have to, email my clients and they're like, why are you working at 8:00 at night? And you were like, I'm working at 70-hour weeks and I'm trying to do both. It was a really hard decision, not to get off too much on the topic, but it was a really hard decision to say okay, am I going to leave that comfort of a 9-to-5 check? But the second that I did and I went fully into my business, I actually made a ton more money because I had more time.
Wow.
So
good for you. Yeah, that's really good. So just so people know, she didn't do this haphazardly in any way, shape, or form. She had her business plan kind of laid out in her head and just followed it.
Yeah.
Any regrets?
Oh, for sure. A ton, I would say.
For leaving?
Oh, no.
What do you have regrets about?
How I handled my business at the beginning, not having a firm business plan. Starting out and sending invoices in Excel. I probably should have done my research and, gotten equipped with QuickBooks and things like that. So, regrets in how I started it and not being as consistent as I probably should have been on social and things of that sort, but absolutely no regrets leaving that 9-to-5.
Yeah, I figured you were going to say that. But I think, honestly, those are just learning curves.
Yeah.
You always say, I should have done this, I should have done... Yes, you probably should have, but so does everybody else when they're branching out on their own. If you're doing it by yourself and you're not the expert quite yet, with building a business, those things do occur.
Yeah. But to go back to what does my business do? I do, website hosting, social media. A lot of my bread and butter is graphic design. So if someone needs a flyer, a logo, anything of those sorts, I'm I have many hats and I can pretty much figure it out. So
yes, and just so everyone knows, I own several different businesses, and so she does my marketing for all of them. When she first met me, I think a hot mess. I was a hot mess with my social media, with what was going on. You would ask me questions I don't know where that is. And I think it took a while.
But it also wasn't your fault.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it wasn't my fault. I just want to say that was not. I was under the misdirection of somebody
else.
Yes. I would say it took us a good year to be like, Karen, what is this that you're paying for and why are you paying for it?
Because someone told me and I just did. And for those who know me, social media is probably the hardest thing for me to grasp. As soon as someone starts talking about it, I just want to close off my ears and walk away and I don't even want to have that conversation. Mm-hmm. So that is, I always say, get a professional for things that you don't do well. Well, social media marketing, I don't do well at all. So yeah, so I was a hot mess with a lot of things. So I just wanted to let everyone know that she really came in and really turned so many things around, and actually kind of put all of my different businesses under one umbrella. And I wasn't always starting to go, where is it? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So
where's the login? What is it? What are you even paying for? So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, we went through quite a bit of that. So tell me, when you went to college?
Yes, but I did not go to college for marketing.
Yep.
I went to college to be in the dental field.
I remember you telling me that.
Yes.
And you left there because
COVID hit and I didn't want to be in people's mouths anymore.
Yeah. COVID played into so many people's lives.
Oh, yeah.
In different ways.
Yeah.
So here you're going down one path, and I bet your family was excited.
Yes, because I finally figured out what I wanted to do. Because I had a lot of different jobs leading up to that. I worked at a bank. I was a bartender. I was a dental assistant. I was an orthodontic assistant. So it was like when I finally told my mom, yeah, I want to do this. She's like, okay, finally. You know what you want to do. So.
Yeah. Yep. So how did you make the leap from when you went to college for that into what you're currently doing?
Yeah. So I was working at an orthodontic office, and I truly feel like I own this man my marketing career, even though he's an orthodontic doctor. He came to me and said, you look like you'd be really good with social media. Do you want to try it? And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. At the time I didn't really get into marketing, didn't really get into graphic design, but I said, hey, why not? So I started running their social media, which was really fun because it was marketed towards, kids and their parents and what happens around the orthodontic office. And it was just a really fun environment. And then COVID happened, world shut down. And since orthodontic care wasn't a need, they pushed it more. So we were furloughed more. So instead of going back with other dentists in April, we didn't go back until June or July of 20. Yeah.
I think that's when we were allowed
2020.
to come back a teeny bit.
But here's the thing is that you came back in a bee suit, a hazmat suit. It was crazy, the things that we had to wear. Yeah, because we were inside people's mouths. Oh. It was crazy what we had to wear. We had to wear 2 masks. We had to wear a shield. It was a bee suit. It was crazy. So at that point, I mentally was just so drained, and I had a little bit of experience with the social media world that I said, okay, I'm really going to lean into this because I just don't want to do dental work anymore. And then I found a job with a local organization. And to this day, it's still the worst job I've ever had.
Really?
Yes, absolutely the worst job I've ever had. I lasted 6 months there. I don't even think you know any of this.
No.
But I was a marketing/social media coordinator for a local builders association. And it was just a very toxic environment. It was just a place that you couldn't grow and couldn't excel in. So I knew that if I really wanted to do what I wanted to do with my life and be in marketing, I either A, need to start my own business, or B, find a better place for me to be. And that's okay, just knowing 6 months in. So I left that job, and I still remember to this day, my manager, she said to me when I put in my 2 weeks, she was like, you'll never make it in with your marketing career. That's the first thing that she said to me when I put in my 2 weeks. Yes.
Okay, that's called a bitch move.
So.
And I hate, that gets me started. I hate when I hear people because I always feel women should lift other women up.
Yeah.
And always say, congratulations, good luck, and all that. So.
Yeah, but I will tell you that from that day, and it's still engraved in my head, what she said to me, you'll never make it in your marketing career. Everything I do now is always for myself and always, for my husband and for my family. But, it's for the people that underestimated me and told me that I could never do it.
I love that part.
So, but long story short, I reached back out to the doctor of the orthodontic person that I was working for. And I said, hey, do you want me to contract my services? And I was contracting services through him. So that's kind of where DiTucci Marketing started.
Nice.
But I still needed a paycheck. So I went to work for a construction company that was the best thing for my career because I don't have a college degree and I wasn't taught a lot of the things that you needed to know in marketing. I worked for a man. I call him my mentor. I don't even think he was my manager. He was just a mentor to me. He taught me A to Z, quite literally everything that I know today.
Wow.
And from that job, I was at that job for just over 2 years. And when I left and I told them, I'm going to start my own business, I'm going to do this for me, they were very, very uplifting about it. I still keep in touch with a lot of people from that company.
That's great. That's how it should be.
That's how it should be. Yeah, that's at the point where DiTucci Marketing was born, and I was able to do things on my own.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, those bumps along the way have a funny way of kickstarting, motivating, or inspiring us to just kind of say, screw you, get out of my way.
Right.
And so I love that part of that.
Yeah.
Was there one or anything you would have done really differently?
I would say standing up for myself more. I am not the same person I am today that I was 5 years ago. I was more in my shell. I kind of let people beat on me. I wasn't very confident in what I was doing because I was early on in my career, and I wish I would have just questioned people or learned a little bit more early on in my career. But other than that.
Yeah, wait till you're my age.
Yeah.
You won't take shit from anybody.
I know, if I'm only 31 and I'm like this, can you imagine?
I think it's a powerful tool. So
Yeah.
I would rather have particular women business owners be, wear the pants right from the start. But I do believe as you gain more business sense, your business continues, that comes with it. But I think that also makes the person who owns a business unstoppable as well.
That's so true. But I also think that you have to learn that you're not, yes, you're kind of born with it, but like you kind of have to go through those things to make who you are today.
Absolutely. Yes, 100%. And I'll tell you, when I was like younger, my parents divorced, and I only bring it up because it kind of shaped who I was today. And my dad went to college, then he went back and got his master's degree. Very successful business person, but my mom was the traditional stay home, raised 3 daughters. And when they divorced, like, she didn't have an income. And so for her everything was a struggle. Obviously my dad was paying and stuff, but my mom was also hoarding that money, but that's a whole story. But anyways, but I remember thinking at like 15 or so, 16, I will never ever depend on a man for money, ever.
Yeah.
And I just remember that as clear as day. And I also thought, anything I want in life, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
And so, that drive and determination was there just because of, my upbringing. So I truly believe the things you kind of go through really help shape and mold you.
Oh, absolutely. I fully agree with that. And I think that kind of is like my story too, with like my dad. He's always just worked for himself. He's always, if he wants something, he's going to do it himself. And I think that's why I'm more like my dad in that aspect than my mom. But yeah, I agree. It's how you're born and how you're raised. So. Yeah.
My dad, very much so. Business, now owns his own consulting firm, consults people all over the world, and I'm definitely like his daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. When you did your interview a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know, 2-3 episodes ago, you guys are the exact person, same person.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny that you say that because most people probably don't pick up on that so much. So, yeah. So what do you think from where you started till today, what was your biggest struggle?
Yeah.
And how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I would think that my biggest struggle, and I'll go back to, kind of what I was saying before of like people just underestimating you. People saying like, you can't do this because you don't have a college degree. You can't do this because there's, 20 other marketing firms in Rochester. You can't do this because X, Y, Z. And instead of listening to that, I just did it. And I feel like I have a very autodidact personality in the fact of like, if I don't know something, I will LinkedIn learn. I will.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to laugh at me for this. I will TikTok it.
Yeah. No, that is one thing. Now, just so you know, I didn't just pull Kayla's name out of a hat and say, "Oh, let me get her." And we did interview several people, and honestly, I've had 6 maybe different social media people, and I always thought they were good until I got you. And when you're like, okay, first of all, there's too much stuff going on. You don't need half of this. We need to have a plan, focus it down. Let's take each business individually. And we went step by step by step. And I was like, how the hell have I been running this stuff with all this craziness? So, but we interviewed several people, but you honestly was the first time that someone had broken it down. Like, we have this, we're going to do 1, 2, and 3. We have this, we're going to do A, B, and C. So for me, I was like, oh, now I'm talking. I have an outline. I know what we're supposed to do and stuff. And it was the first time I really felt someone was listening to me as well, and really like seeing what mess I was in, what I really needed. Because when we interviewed other people, they came in, they said, I do this, this, and this. One person, I post 6 months out. Well, what about if we have a special? Well, you have to give it to me ahead of time.
Oh, goodness.
I think you came in after her.
Yeah, I did.
And I was just like, listen, I've been arguing with this person because it's like, and it was terrible. And
I never understood. I remember when you said that. When you said, I keep arguing with someone. I'm like, it's your business, Karen. Yeah. You shouldn't have to argue with people. Like, yes, I'm going to give you my expertise and maybe say, let's go in this direction. But I would never be like, oh, no, we can't do this. Because if anyone told me what to do with my business, I'm sorry. Gone. Out.
Yeah. Well, I do like when I say I have a really good idea and I'll blurt it out and you go, yeah, no.
But I also think that like that's like my personality too. Right?
No, I love that. I mean, honestly, I'd rather someone just go, yeah, no.
Yeah, no. Not a good idea, Karen.
Yeah.
No, but you do have good ideas. You do.
Once in a while, yeah. Throw them out there. So that is funny.
Yeah.
So where do you see your business now? What do you see for you in the future? If you had a crystal ball and say, I want A, B, and C, what would it be?
So this might shock people, but I want to build a business where I'm comfortable, like where I'm not making a ton of money that I just don't know what to do with it, where I'm making a ton of money where I lose the value of life. Mm-hmm. I just want to make enough money to make sure that my family is set up, generational wealth, those types of things. So I'm very selfish in the fact of like, I want what's best for myself, my husband, my family, even my parents. So I just want to get to a place. I have a certain amount of clients right now where I want to keep building on that, but I don't want to get overwhelmed and build it too much, if that makes sense. Where some people might be like, Kayla, you're crazy. Why wouldn't you want to become the next huge marketing firm in Rochester? I just don't see myself doing that. I like small business.
Yeah, I totally understand you. Before COVID, I had 50 employees.
Yeah.
And this space is 9,000 square feet. And that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of people.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I had 50 employees, a lot of people, a lot of issues, a lot of stuff. And I have to say, I mean, I was on just automatic for several years, automatic. And I do, since my industry's changed so much, I do really believe like I have a much more life balance right now than I ever did.
Yeah.
And I'm learning to appreciate it a lot more. And like, the one good thing is even though I always worked a lot, I had the flexibility. So if my kids were doing anything, I was always a part of them in school and, the mother room and all that stuff.
Right.
So I always was fortunate enough, but I would be working at the kitchen table at 11 o'clock at night too, doing stuff. So I totally understand that.
Yeah.
And I think that is huge.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people wait until they're like my age and then they're like, oh, so all I've been doing is working.
Yeah.
And stuff. So
I definitely agree with the fact of just like slowing down, work-life balance, and that's like really where I'm at today. And the value of life is just too much, that I can't replace that.
Yeah.
So.
That's well said.
Yeah.
I think that's really great. What is one of your biggest things that you had to learn, but it was the hard way?
I would say my first website. Here's the thing with business owners. Unless you try something, you're already failing.
Absolutely.
So why not just keep trying it and fail in the process? Because if you don't start it, then you're already at zero, right? So I remember the first website that I did. It was probably 2021. Yes, 2021. It was a family friend. Thank goodness. I remember I built this whole thing. I did all the coding. I did everything. I pressed publish and it just didn't see the light of day. Waited about 30 days and I was like, why is there no traction? What's going on here? I didn't have it set up right, didn't have things posting. And, this family friend put a lot of trust in me to build their website and build their business and build their brand. That from that point, I was like, okay, nope, I really need to learn and make sure I get advice from a lot of good people around me. That's how I live my business now.
Yeah.
It's just making sure you know what you're doing before you sign up for something.
Yep. I agree completely.
So yeah.
And don't you think it's crazy to me, my major was accounting and finance.
Yep.
We had to take marketing classes. What was it, the 4 Ps and all this other stuff. Don't you think the marketing has changed so much? Obviously it has,
Yeah.
but how do you even stay on top with that crap?
I really lean in on my mentors and who I've worked with in the past in my 9-to-5 world. And, I'll pick up the phone. I talked to him right before I came here. I will pick up the phone to my old manager. His name is Paul. And I'll say, hey, I know that we did it this way. How would you do it now? Or, we meet for lunch and you network and you have expertise and just talk things through. I think that leaning in on other people and not being so independent is how you keep learning, but also just making sure that you're staying up on your skills. For an example, all of the websites are hosted, through Squarespace. So if they have an event or if they have a training, that's the first thing I do. Because they're always updating things, right? Yep. Meta, I feel like that's a curse word with us. Yeah. Meta business, Facebook and Instagram. They're quite literally always changing things every single day. Yeah. Every single day. You could have posted something yesterday and it would fail because of their update. Yeah. So it's a lot of learning in the fact of you have to put in the work or else you're not going to make it in this world.
Yeah, and stay up to date.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Because how many times have you walked into a meeting and says, okay, this isn't working because they changed it. And I'm like, how do you know? I mean, do you get an email that says they changed it? Because I need it. And then
sometimes. But no.
Yeah, and it's got to be flashing red to make sure I actually read it and don't just delete the damn thing.
Right. So. But I also think that makes my business, it makes it so that I can live, right?
Yes.
That's if someone doesn't hire me and if you try to do something that's in-house and great example like your business, things would fall behind, websites wouldn't stay afloat, you know, it's just impossible. So you need someone that's going to put in the work and keep up with training.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that completely.
But yeah.
That's funny. Your first one didn't go live when you.
It did after 30 days when I realized it.
That's funny.
But again, you got to fail to learn.
So we talked about the pandemic. Did the pandemic actually hurt you?
Oh yes. Even though my business started after the pandemic, it did.
It did.
Because my first client I signed in 2021. That's not the first client, the second client that I ever signed. 6 months later, they said, we're shutting down business.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of people, and sadly, even in the corporate world, the first people that are cut are marketing.
Yes.
Unless you have a Gen Z or millennial CEO, you're getting cut, which is sad because I feel like I could argue that, until my mouth is dry. 2020, 2021, yes, that was a very big argument in the fact of marketing may not be needed, but I feel like because of the pandemic, marketing is at an ultimate high. Mm-hmm. And I could argue that you could probably get rid of a few more people than your marketing department, but yeah, that's just because I'm passionate about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I worked in corporations and that was, and when you audited people, We got to
Where
cut
can
the
we
bottom.
cut first, yeah.
Yeah, it was always marketing.
Always marketing.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is also why I love my business too, because I'll never cut myself, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I can make my own hours. I can make my own, you know, if I want to make a few extra in the next 6 months, I could say, okay, Kayla, you got to take on X amount of clients. Like I dictate my salary, which is very nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing I have to say. As a business owner, if you're being successful, you really get to write your paycheck. Mm-hmm. But most people don't know that because they end up getting so far. They don't look at it that way, so they don't realize they can change their own bottom line.
Right.
You know? So, yeah, that is a great point. Because if you work for somebody, you're getting that same paycheck every week,
and
every
you'll
month.
get, what, a 2% raise at your annual review?
Yeah.
Here's 40 cents an extra hour.
Yeah.
Like that's...
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Sadly.
And I don't bash the people that absolutely love that lifestyle, but it's like if I want to make it, especially in this time, in this economy, everyone has a second job.
Yes.
So why not make that your first income?
Yeah, that is very, very, very true.
So
very true. What advice would you give somebody who was, middle 20s, trying to figure out what they want to do, but like the path you took? What advice would you give a young person to say, here's what I would do, or here's why I would do it?
Yeah. I would say that I'm in like an untraditional route where if someone is in their 40s, 50s, 60s talking to someone in their 20s, they would say, hey, go to college and figure out what you want to do. I would never tell anyone that.
No.
Because I see a lot of people, even close to me, that have a college degree that don't use it.
Yeah.
And now they're swimming in college debt. So, my biggest advice would just be use your free resources around you, use the people around you. If you want, so for your example, right? If you want to get into the spa industry, get a job, work at the front desk, and learn the industry.
Absolutely.
Right? If you want to get into marketing, I've had a number of people reach out and say, hey, Kayla, do you want to grab a coffee? Like, I want to pick your brain on how to get into marketing or how can I start this business? And I think that using the resources around you is huge instead of just, when we were in the 2000s, just saying, hey, go back to college.
Yeah, everyone said that.
Everyone did.
Yeah. It was like, if you weren't going to school to get a 4-year degree, forget about it. You can't even have a job.
No. And
I don't know the exact quote, but the gist of it was back prior to the pandemic, you'd always say, well, why don't we talk to somebody in that business who usually is around the 50-year-old mark because they've been there, done it, and they've made it. Now people are saying, why don't you go find somebody in their 20s or early 30s and talk to them about how they made it and pick their brain.
Right. And I think that going to college and getting a corporate job worked back then because, for example, a McDonald's medium fry was 99 cents back then.
Yeah.
It's like $5 now.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's what I mean. So someone that's my age has to hustle to make up that $4 difference because we're not getting paid any more than we were 10 years ago for the same jobs that we're doing now.
Yeah, that is true.
So
that is true.
And I also think that's why my generation is very, mindful or tedious in how to make money because we just have to make up the difference.
Yes. Yeah. Your generation also likes to spend a lot of money.
I will say I'm guilty of that. And if you ask my husband, he will say, amen. Absolutely. I agree.
And I'm just going to bring this up, but here's like a big difference. We are many years apart.
Yeah.
I'm in my late 50s. So many years apart. My parents' mentality with me was save, 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 save.
Yeah.
Save all your money.
Same with my parents.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so at one point that was great. I had a Tupperware container in my bottom drawer with $5,000 in it. But no one said go to the bank, want to invest it, none of that stuff. So, okay, that's how I started. But now my 24-year-old daughter, who, just got her second big time job at that age, is like, Dad, I want to invest. Can we set up a portfolio and stuff? And she's like, okay. But but then she'll say, and I'm going to go on vacation to like Atlantis, or
Yeah.
I want to, go buy this, and it's only $2,000. And I'm like, what are you, nuts?
Yeah.
So I do think obviously times have changed with the mindsets of younger people
Yes.
and how they're brought up, the instant gratification where.
Exactly. That's a great word for it.
Yes. Yeah.
But I also think that those things need to be taught in high school.
Oh, I agree.
Like, not even like, why are we waiting until college to teach people the value of money? Because I know my parents, the second that I turned 15, I was working at a dog grooming place on Saturday mornings. My mom would have to drive me.
Yep.
I would work at a dog grooming place. I remember one day, oh goodness, there was 6, we would bring in 6 golden retrievers. I would go out of work looking like a golden retriever because I would be the one washing them, right? So it's like, we're starting to make money and when we're 15, 16. So why are we learning how the value of it and how to spend it when we're 20?
I totally agree. Some of the shit they learn, my daughter's in 9th grade. Now, if you want to sing, that's wonderful. My daughter can't sing, should not be singing, and there's something else she should be doing. Like your basic principles of money
Right.
management and stuff like that. There's so much more they should be teaching than what they are. I mean,
Right.
someone said they haven't changed the platform of teaching the kids the same material over and over and over again.
Like, why do I need to know what happens when 2 chemicals react?
Yeah.
In chemistry.
Yeah.
It's like, I would
You can go Google it.
Exactly. And I do remember I graduated high school with a business regents diploma.
Yep.
It was, you could take extra business classes, and I should have been like, hello, Kayla, you're meant to be a business owner once I did that. But I also did it because you got an extra rope.
Cord.
Yeah, you
The
got
cord.
an extra cord. When you graduated high school, so I was like, oh, I want that yellow cord. I'm going to do this. But I do think, and they may have, and I just wasn't paying attention, but I do think that they need to learn, like, we need to learn those things. Nobody needs to learn how to balance a checkbook because it's 2025 and we all have mobile banking, right?
Oh, yeah.
Get that out of the curriculum and tell me how I can invest my money. How do I pay my mortgage? What's a great interest rate? How do I go buy a car? What is a credit score?
Yes.
All of those things.
All those are so much more imperative. I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to tell you who asked me this, but someone asked me. They said, I know I have a dumb question, but I'm not sure. And I said, okay. Can I go to the bank and deposit money there?
Like cash?
Yeah, cash.
Oh, God.
Cash. And I'm just looking at them, and I said, okay, that was a dumb question. But I'm just not saying that out loud. And I finally said, yes. I said, what do you do with your cash? And she says, I don't usually get cash. We Venmo and all that. And I'm like, oh.
That's true.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the last time I had cash, to be honest. Unless it was like a Facebook Marketplace sketchy transaction. But
Yeah.
But I will also say that I learned, going back to, how you're raised, I learned the value of money from my grandma. She retired from Canandaigua National Bank.
Oh, wow.
She was, very, like the second, before we were even born, I'm pretty sure that she started a checking account for us. It was called a Looney Tunes checking account. And you couldn't get it until you were 18.
Yes.
So, mind you, I was born in the 90s, so Looney Tunes. So, she would dump money into it. She would get us like CDs, stocks, those types of things. So when I graduated high school, didn't know what I wanted to do. I worked at a bar, but I also got a job at Canandaigua National. And that was one of the best first official, besides dog grooming.
Yeah.
First official jobs at a high school that I could really have because I learned a lot from the people that came in to deposit money. What did they do? How did they get there? To what are CDs? What are stocks? And I think that that's how I learned the value of money, but it obviously didn't help because I still spend a lot. But.
Yes. Speaking of CDs, you can't buy savings bonds.
Really?
Yeah. I once, this is a long time ago, when my nephews and nieces were all born, and for their each birthday, each Christmas gift, anytime I had to buy them something, I always gave them a savings bond.
Okay, yeah.
So $50.
I don't even know what those are, but
Yes, I'd go to the bank, and I don't remember how many years now, but after so many years, it would double the worth. So you put $50 in, and then in so many years it'd be $100. And I did that. And so one day, and then I would also get them something fun and stuff. But that was one thing I always did for all my.
So there was no instant gratification.
Not for them for that, no. But I gave them if they're a kid, I'd usually give them a loud truck or something to piss off my sisters.
Drum set,
yeah, something like that. So I always give them that. But I remember going to the bank and I'm like, I want to purchase savings bond. And she goes, oh, we don't do these anymore. I'm like,
they're like, where's this lady been the past 10 years?
I'm sure she looked at me and thought, where the hell, really? Have you been under a rock?
Yeah. And
stuff like that. But I was like, okay. So, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
So, now if you had any closing remarks that you would want the audience to know about you, your business.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, do you have room to take more clients?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, I do.
Okay. I know for a while you were pretty booked and full.
I was booked and full until I was like, oh, yeah, I can take one more. Oh, yeah, I can take one more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
then life balance got out of balance.
And then it got out of balance, and, I wasn't seeing my husband as much, and I was behind my computer at 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Oh, yeah.
But...
yeah, I have to
yes,
say I have called you on Sundays or texted you on Sundays, Saturdays, Friday nights, and I always get a reply back. And I'm always like, I'm so sorry to bother you, but just so I don't forget, you don't need to reply to me right now.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. And I get a text back. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, but you're a very nice client, because my other clients don't do this. You're like, I know it's Saturday, but I'm sorry. I just want to do this so I don't forget. And I'm like, Karen, I own my own business. It's not like I can be like, oh yeah, it's 5 o'clock. Don't talk to me.
Yeah, but still,
I appreciate that, but.
Well, thank you. Cause I'm like, oh God, I know what it's like when you get calls of all hours and stuff.
Yeah.
So what would you want anybody else to know about your business?
Yeah. I mean, about my business and about myself. I mean, obviously I am accepting clients, but, I take on small businesses. That's like my bread and butter. I don't love working with large companies. I just know my limits, and I know that I'm better value with a small business because I can connect with the owner more. I have a nonprofit right now, so that was interesting to navigate because,
cool.
Yeah, so a little bit on that, I work with small businesses, but I took on a nonprofit 3 years ago now.
Wow.
Maybe even 4, actually. So they were a client of the very first marketing job that I got.
Oh, really?
Something happened, and they left that company, and they were looking for someone on marketing. They posted on LinkedIn, and they said, hey, we're looking for someone in marketing. This was before I even really was taking on clients. I had like maybe 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. I was working my 9 to 5, and I was like, you know what? I know this company. I know this person. Hey, I have started my own company. Like, let's talk. But it's very interesting in the fact of like, it's not like I can go to you and say, hey, Karen, I want to do this. This is a really great idea. Let's do this. No, it has to go to a board. It has to get voted on. That's yes. How it is, right? Oh, yeah. So, yeah. And if we need to spend any money for an event, so I do like event support for them. I'm like, I have to go through the president, then I have to go through the board, then I have to go through financials, which is great, but it's a different learning aspect in that fact. But I've also gotten to learn about nonprofit organizations, which is kind of cool. But yeah, so.
Oh, that's cool. That really is.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have known
how
a board works, or how a president works, how someone comes onto the board, anything of that sort.
Yeah.
Plus, like any of the local events, it's a technology organization, and they're still my client, but it's interesting in the fact of they get a new president every 2 years.
Oh.
So I'm on my 3rd president.
Really?
Right now, yeah. He just started in September, but he's on the board before, right? So you get to know him and whatnot. But it's still a very fun client in the fact of like it's different.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, so, and I'm kind of going off on a reel here, but yeah, I'm still taking on clients. I'm not going to limit myself. But yeah, so if you ever need website or social media.
Well, how do they contact you?
So I am on social media. It's just DiTucci Marketing. I'm on Instagram.
You better spell it out too.
DiTucci Marketing.
Yes.
It's my husband's last name. Don't yell at me. Everyone's like, oh, you're Italian? I'm like, no, I can't. I burnt like cookies and banana bread the other day. So no, I'm not Italian. But anyways, so.
That's just funny because my maiden name was Jones.
Okay, yeah.
So I was a total mutt, obviously. And I went to Pudetti, and people are always like, oh, are you Italian? And I have a teeny bit of Italian.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I get that. Like, yeah.
I did one of those ancestry things because my mom's adopted, and I wanted to know what I am. I found out I'm Russian, which absolutely makes sense with my temper, and not temper, but like how I react to people. But I found out that I'm quite literally 0.00% Italian.
Really?
Yes, like 0%, not a lick of it, like nothing. So, but yeah, so you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Usually I respond more on Instagram.
Okay.
Nobody's really on Facebook anymore, but some of my clients are, so I have to stay
Older
there.
ones are.
So I have to stay there. And then obviously LinkedIn, Kaila DiTucci, you can reach out to me there. But my email is Kaila, Kaila, @DiTucciMarketing.com. But yeah, and I'm usually hanging out here sometimes.
Yes, that is true. Thank God not as much, because for a while there I was like, oh my God, I should just get her an office because there's so much going on.
There was so much going on. I feel like, so wait, when did we, is it 2 years now?
Yeah.
January will be 2 years.
Yeah.
December or January?
We met in December, but started in January
Yes,
because you were like, okay, let me get a handle on all this going on. And I'm like, yeah, let's just do one thing at a time because I don't even know anymore.
Well, when I first met you, I remember it was for Lux, right?
Yeah.
So when I came in, did the interview, and we met, it was for Lux. And then you said, well, I have other businesses. And I'm like, okay, wait, let's take a beat here.
Yeah.
But it's been fun.
Yeah, it has been fun. It's been fun because now it's more organized. I even understand things. I don't know, how many platforms do you think I had? Like 7 or 8 platforms and different things?
No, I would say close to like 30.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you would ask me, what do you have this for? I don't know. What is it exactly? Because I don't even know.
We would have to Google it.
Yeah.
Like you would say a business name. You would go through your summary. We would have to Google what it was, and then we would have to guess whatever person you had before me signed you up for it.
Yeah.
And then I remember we were calling the 1-800 numbers to be like, what is this?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? And I would be on the phone in the background being like, okay, no, we don't need that for marketing.
How much money did we guess that I saved? Like a couple $1,000.
$2,000
Easily.
a month.
A month. Yes, a
month. Easily.
See what happens? You do, even though you don't do it, or you should try to understand it. And now I can say I honestly do.
I would say so too. I think that even working with you and you being a client, it's easier to work with you now because it's like what platforms we're on, what we're doing, website wise, everything's under one umbrella.
Yeah.
It only took us like 18 months to get there.
Yeah, that was it. It was short and simple. Yeah, that was how many social media nightmares I had prior for like the different businesses.
Yeah. Which scares me that there's people out there running their businesses like that, but to each their own.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about getting somebody who can make it easier, save you money, if you're like a hot mess like me, definitely call Kaila.
I feel like that's just like for my own sanity too.
Yeah.
If I had one client on 30 platforms and I have, I don't know, how many clients, I would go nuts.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
I would need someone just to manage all the subscriptions.
Yeah. You kept going, what's this for? I don't know. I have no idea. Is there anybody in the building? And we'd go around asking Sarah and anybody, a hairstylist. I don't know. Do you recall this? I have
do you know what this is? And then we would ask your old person, what did you use this for? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, oh goodness.
Yes. But
you're organized now. So.
Yes, I'm very organized, on task, and moving forward. So I want to thank you so much for being here with me today. Yes. I enjoy all the times we get together because we're always like, and we're very organized, precise, functional, and stuff. So,
we are.
So
because we're both busy businesswomen.
Yeah, that is very true.
We get that, right?
Yeah. So thanks for sticking around with me because for a while it was like. It was a mess.
No, I've dealt with worse.
Oh, good. Thank God.
You keep saying that, but I've dealt with worse. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome, and thank you. And let's look forward to our next session together and listen again to the $1 Million Blueprint with Karen Pudetti.